Hello, this is for the Stormchaseing Adventures. Come to you with the hurricane season 2024 update. I know many of you have probably seen this already. I figured I'd give it a try to see how good I can do it. Please leave me your feedback in the comments below. Let's get right into it. As you can see, this is the Eastern Pacific right here where it's circle and you see a little bit of blue. That's colder waters. El Nino, which is the male, is is dying. So what that means, every time we get a El Nino, which has the male, it will all the winds from it will go into the Caribbean side, the Caribbean, the Gulf, the Yucatan, all those other areas, and it would increase the wind shear. So any system that comes from over here, see, that's Africa. Africa is where all the tropical waves come from, and with those waves, they go in the Atlantic, which is this right here. This is the Atlantic where it's circled. That's very, very, very warm waters. The waters have now been warming up, and it's kind of like bath water. So, and it's been everybody else has been saying that we're going to have an active season, and I believe them. Due to El Nino, which is the female. So not all right here, but anyways, off track. Sorry. Um, the winds usually will come from the Pacific side going to the Caribbean, which that's called upper level winds, wind shear. And what those the wind shear would do, it would actually decrease any tropical development. So if anything develops from the Atlantic, gets into the Atlantic, develops, becomes a depression, tropical storm, named hurricane, whatever. And that's that hurricane's going into the Caribbean and into the Gulf. Then the 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 uh, up another winds would actually push the cloud tops of the center of the hurricane. So the hurricane is like a spinning pinwheel, but it's got very violent thunderstorms that are strong, that are very violent, that have destructive winds, tornadoes, um, and also you get storm surge, and you get high winds, and you get hail. Sometimes you get tornadoes. You also will get tornadoes inside of a tropical system. Um, so, where this is right here, this is the Atlantic. So the winds will usually come from the Pacific side over to the Caribbean, and then if a tropical system develops in the Atlantic, then and also if it moves into the Caribbean, what the winds will do, those upper level winds, wind shear, it will actually push the cloud tops off of center of the center of the hurricane or tropical storm, whatever, and then it would literally just push the cloud tops off, and then the storm will weaken and fall apart due to high upper level winds, and those winds are very strong. And when the tropical system is going to the Caribbean, as soon as it gets in there and those winds take over, those winds will push all those thunderstorms off of the center of the hurricane, and that's when it'll weaken it. So this time around, when I've been saying that the wind shear up on the winds, it's gonna be weakening, and so when it weakens, it's for forecast to, then it will these any tropical system, doesn't matter what it is, if it comes in from the Atlantic and it goes into the Caribbean, the Yucatan, and then all the way up into the Gulf, um, then we will have a high chance for any tropical system to develop, which means it could possibly rapidly intensify into a hurricane, maybe a category 3 or higher. Um, We don't exactly know yet, but yeah, the water's in the Atlantic, which is right over here. See how warm all that red? That's very, very warm waters. That's like almost like bath water. So I'll be watching this area for tropical development. This is the Atlantic. So the Caribbean's right here. You got the Yucatan over here where my mouse is, and then this right here in the white, that's the Gulf. So we are in a high, especially Florida, well, us in Florida, we are surrounded by water on the Gulf side and on the Atlantic side. So we're surrounded by water. So if the tropical system does come this way, there's nothing we can do about it. All we can do is be prepared. Don't be scared, as Reinhold always says. Um, I will be here all hurricane season long, keeping you guys updated on the latest threats, tracks, where is it going to go, how bad is it going to be, how much time you have until you get there. Also, make sure you have your hurricane supplies up to date, like canned foods, batteries, water. Make sure your insurance papers are there in case you need them. Make sure you know where to go if you're told to evacuate. Um, yeah, just hope this season doesn't turn out like the way they're saying, but from what I've been hearing, it could get very, very bad. So I'll be here all. Come on. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next image. Sorry about that. This is the mojo. This is upward. This is upward motion. Um, this is what we like to look at to see how bad. Let me see if I can zoom it in. Give me a minute, guys. Sorry about this. I'm new. Okay, it should be hopefully close enough for you guys to see it. No, darn it. I might have to zoom it back out, but yeah. This is the mojo. This is an upward motion. Pulse of the mojo moves into the Caribbean, Western Atlantic second half of this month, leading to a favorable background stage for tropical development. So this is called a mojo energy. This shows us like the green. The green means that's where we could see an uptick in tropical development. Um, the brownish reddish color, I believe that's dry air. So I'll be watching this. This is a good model or graphic that we use. So yeah, this would be looking for energy for tropical development. So yeah, this is what we use. It's called the upward motion pulse of the mojo moves into the Caribbean and Western Atlantic season second half of this month, leading up to a favorable background state for tropical development. So we go to this. Oops. Okay, this right here up. That's gonna be a high pressure Bermuda high, as you would say. Which that's up here. See that blue edge? Can't really see it, but all this is non-tropical. There's gonna be a Bermuda high. If a strong high pressure develops, and that high pressure, let's say, if that high pressure comes, it's supposed to develop right here. Usually, sometimes the tropical development systems, when they come from the Atlantic side, sometimes they like to do it what it's called a recurve, which means they would just turn and go that way, or sometimes they would go up to the east coast of Florida, all the way up to the Carolinas, and then out. So sometimes that does happen, like a very a frontal boundary or trough that comes down. And it comes down or sometimes we get high pressure that'll develop over us, and that will block any tropical development or any storms coming our way. So there's supposed to be a Bermuda High developing. If that does develop, then it will keep all the storms moving west, which means any storms. This is Cuba right here. This is the Dominican Republican. Yucatan's right here. So if you want to know what Yucatan is, that's right here. Down in this area, that's the Caribbean. That's the Atlantic. That's the Atlantic side. There's the Bahamas. So yeah, if Bermuda High is supposed to develop, if it develops if that Bermuda high pressure, if it stays right here and it doesn't move, any tropical system that develops, if it develops, then it'll keep any tropical systems west, which means that's also bad, especially for us in Florida. Sometimes the storms, you'll see a storm right here. Storm will come up. Sometimes it'll go this way between Cuba and Miami, and then go into the Gulf. And most of the 10 out of 10 they usually come towards Florida, or they go up to the Florida Panhandle, towards New Orleans, towards Texas, sometimes towards Mexico. But sometimes they will just come down here, that's called a null rider. Okay, right here, this is the Antilles. Usually a storm will develop and it'll come over here by the Antilles, go into the Caribbean, go all the way up. Sometimes they will either go across Cuba and hit Miami and then us, but with Cuba has very, very, very high mountains. And what those high mountains do, they tend to make the tropical system, make it fall apart. So when it falls apart, or if a tropical system's coming up this way and then it goes, sometimes it'll cross over Cuba, and sometimes it will stay over Cuba and stay there and keep spinning. And then because Cuba has very high mountains, so those high mountains tend to uh, disrupt or disturb the hurricane, and then the hurricane will go into the Gulf. Either it'll come here, or it'll go up to the Florida Panhandle, or New Orleans, or Texas. So between the Atlantic, which this is the Atlantic right here, I'm going to be watching the Atlantic up here, because sometimes storms can like to go this way up towards where Cuba is, and then hit Miami and Key West. Key West is down here, so Key West does get hit a lot by tropical systems. They always do. And then, yeah, so I'll be watching the Atlantic, the Caribbean,